Put it like that. Let's see here. Keep my whistle wet. Okay, here we go. Sort the puzzles out, the pieces out by their shape, because there's a certain pattern to that to help you figure out where they go. Right now in the clouds, the thing that's telling is that when you look at that picture, the bottom of every cloud has a gray part, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing you have to go on. Try to find the piece. Hi there. Hey. How are you?
How are you?
Hi.
Fine.
Oh, look at this. All sorts of people.
Oh, yeah.
It feels good. It's not a quiet hall.
Well, we can zip around here. They have revolving displays of residents, souvenirs from trips. I've had photographs displayed down in the hall, and we had art objects. I've testified in front of the council and other review agencies that people, you know, they complain about something if it's too tall. Well, if you walked around in the neighborhood, no one ever looks any higher than the telephone poles, maybe. So I say, if they're saying they don't like that building because it's too tall, well, I say that's a bogus thing. So that's high school. This is high school graduation photo. And this is when I was in the Air Force. Yeah, around 1960, right? So that was in the Air Force, right after basic training. And I was a woodworker specialist. You can't be an architect in the service. Steve Cox, he wrote a note in there. There's a few that nobody did anything unpleasant in here. It's all a very nice event. And so I'm glad they chose this as one way to. And Pamela Brule, this is when I was the executive director and I started out in the Knox Goodrich building as a historic building, but then we had to move because the rent got too high. And so that's when I moved to South First between California Theater and Original Joe's. That was a great place to be. So when you're doing projects of the size I was working on in the firms I liked, firm that meant a firm of a certain size. That meant that it had to have, it often had all the discipline necessary to do that. So my first job in a firm like that was in '64 when I went to work for John Carl Warnicki. And his office was in San Francisco. Great place to be working if you were living in the peninsula. And so he had Stanford connections, and he went on and became kind of a national personality. Trident Submarine Training Facility. And it was a joint venture team of Warnicki and two other firms. And it's this was a large job, and this is a very political job, and this opportunity came up same time my wife and we all got to live in D.C. in 73 and 74 to do this job. So that was a great benefit of it. And the unique thing about it is that we used core 10 or weathering steel in the building to get that color. And so I started out as a job captain, but the project went on so long, and I was really the last guy left standing. The Tracings newsletter that the chapter has done historically for quite a while. I don't know exactly. It might say when it's actually started, but that was one of the first things I worked on as a new member of the AIA. Was I liked being involved with the newsletter, and so I wrote an article for the newsletter for for 11 months of every year I was there. And the charrettes, though we did those as a way to introduce the people who are making design decisions, they can get some free advice, basically free advice from a whole bunch of architects on what they might be planning to do. So like for city councils, people like that, we made money for the chapter with that, because we did charge them a fee, but they nowhere near what they would have to pay to hire an architect. I think, though, yeah, this was the 50th, that 50, what tells me, that's the 50th anniversary of the chapter that we did a big party for. And that was in October of 2000, yeah. Now we're another 25 years now, so the 75th anniversary. No, I don't want to delete it, but okay, now. That's a chapter member. Here's some chapter members. Now there I am, and you'd probably know her. This is the design awards at the new City Hall in San Jose.
Kent, maybe you can tell everybody here tonight about the love for your profession.
Well, let's see. There were. Well, I will say this. I guess the first thing I've really done that where I really had to say what that was or put together a answer of that type is by the fellowship application. That application, that's a hard one to do because you have to do it yourself. That's the basis of it, but I think most of my good friends are architects.
Mm-hmm.
And that just kind of happens.